It's not the plan that's important, it is the planning. Going back sort of 7.5 years ago when I first started Premier, a wise man once said to me that the best deliverers are the best planners. I've always lived by, kind of with that message throughout my career to date, and I certainly think it's helped me. I plan everything, not just necessarily my work, but what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and how I'm going to do it. And I think it's really important to help you get to that end goal. So what I'd like us to do is list 3 points that help or support your planning. Now, what you can either do is post those points into the chat box, or if you're feeling brave and you want to discuss them and share them out, that'd be even better. Write on a bit of paper and either show a photo on your webcam, or just talk out and say the 3 things that maybe support your planning. So who's going to be the first to go? Let's see if anything's got in there so far. Yeah, knowledge, good. Excellent stuff, Heather. What else? So what's going to help our planning? Skills? Yeah, good. Anything else? There's lots of things out there. So knowledge of the subject, of the topic. What else? Progressive activities, excellent stuff. Thank you, Dale. Organisation, yes, Jessica, excellent stuff. Jessica, in what type? Organisation of what? Equipment, of participants, facilities. What else have we got in here coming in? Linking the lesson together. Yeah, good. So to start, a middle and an end. Organised plan method. Excellent. Some really good answers coming in here, guys. What else? Anyone want to maybe share anything? Anyone want to discuss? Anyone want to talk? Who's going to be the first person? What have we got in here? Jordan, a clear plan with detail and progress throughout the session. Yeah, excellent stuff. So, good. Anything else? So think about Nick's previous video as well. What can we control to support our planning? If we're going to plan, we need to know where we're at. We need to know where we're going to get to. And we need to know how we're going to get there.
I'd say a good understanding of where you're going to do it. So knowing what equipment you may have available in space. Yeah,
spot on. So again, I'm sure you've all experienced it before, where you've turned up and planned a session, and then there might be some barriers to that, where it might be the space, it might be the equipment available. So what do we do to overcome that? Okay. There's some really good answers coming in, guys. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll highlight 1 point that maybe prevents or impacts your planning. So what maybe one thing have you come across in your past, or certainly present, where you go, hang on a minute, that's stopping me reaching my end goal, or preventing me with my plan? Think back to the crossroads. You can either go left or right. There's always a different route, but what impacts or prevents you planning? So clear, achievable outcome, or objective. Yeah, good. What's the point of this? Yeah, spot on. So if we don't know what we're looking to get to, again, it's not clear. Have an aim, have an object. What are you going to reach? Yeah, good stuff. Excellent stuff there, Matty. Think about the ability levels you're working with. Yeah, good. So Harry, when will we know about the ability levels? So think about week 1. Do we know about them, or how many weeks does it take us to understand
that? So yeah, you probably find out kind of the first week sort of what abilities you're working with. You might kind of find out certain children that are like higher ability, sort of meet the medium, low ability, and then you can kind of organise your session so you're kind of challenging those with high ability, but then you're kind of giving more support, or like an easier kind of activity for like lower ability.
Yeah, brilliant, and thanks for coming on and speaking as well. That's brilliant, guys. I think the webinar, it's great for us all to, we're talking about well-being at the moment. It's great for us all to, speak to someone different, have a different conversation with a different person, rather than the 4 walls within the household. So yeah, feel free to come on at any point and share your ideas as well. Cool. Okay, so moving on. So why is planning considered important? So we've talked about that obviously in the chat box. And typically I find that some people will turn around and go, well, we don't need to plan. We don't have to have a lesson plan. Our plan is in our head. So I'm just going to pose you a question that, if anyone wants to share or discuss, it's brilliant. When we talk about a plan, and they go, well, I haven't necessarily got a hand copy, it's planned in my head, that is still a planned session. You've gone away, you've thought about it. Having a planned session doesn't always mean you have to have it written down or have it in a hard copy format. So as long as you know where you're going, if it's in your head or it's on a planned format, a hard copy, that's great. Now, what I would say on the adverse of that is a hard copy, it always gives you something to reflect upon. So if you're in the middle of a session, you're delivering to 30 children for a curricular PE session, there's a great time. We talk about review to go, right, my lesson is in full flow. Let's stop. Let's literally quickly revisit my plan and go, right, where am I currently at? Where am I going to go next? Whereas sometimes in our heads, that can be a bit of information overload. So it's always great to have two formats. I'm a massive believer in you cannot not have a plan. But like I say, having a planned session doesn't always mean a hard copy, but I think good practice, best practice is to have that. Anyone agree or disagree? Anyone want to come on and speak? Or add a comment? Oh, that's fine. Okay. So, planning for PE. Oh, I've lost it. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Planning for PE lessons, physical activity sessions is imperative. So, like I say, having a planned session is vital. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never know how you're going to get there. I think we've all been on that crossroads before, where we may have a vision, we have a dream or an aspiration of something we want to achieve or we want to overcome or kind of tick it off, if you like. But we don't know how we're going to get there. And again, a really easy way of referring back to this is, if we're going to go on holiday and we're going to say, right, we're going to go to, probably not a good time to talk about going around the world, but if we were going to go to America, okay, well, we've got a plan. Whereabouts are we going to go? How are we going to get there? Have I got to drive? Have I got to get a train? Am I going to get a bus to the airport? Which flight am I going to get? How am I going to get from the the airport on the other end in America to my hotel or wherever I'm going to be going to? We have to plan everything, because otherwise we won't go nowhere or know what we're doing. And it's exactly the same when it comes to delivering a session with education. Obviously, the national curriculum supports us and ensures that we are achieving an objective. So, I strongly recommend for those who maybe aren't familiar with the national curriculum or understand how it can affect you from a PE perspective, this is a great time over the next few weeks, for however long the period is going to be, where we can ensure we're working on our own CPD, maybe pick up a new book, plan. Okay, I'm going to educate myself in the next 3 weeks. I'm going to read one book or two books. And how I'm going to do that is I might do e-learning books, audio books. I might pick up a hard copy book and I might read 2 or 3 chapters or pages a day or a week, but plan those sessions in. So when it comes to the national curriculum, ensure that all pupils, as we know, develop competence to excel in a broad range of physical activities. Also, are physically active for a sustained period of time. And I think at the minute, that's absolutely vital. We want to keep everyone active because it can be definitely a lonely time. It can definitely be a challenging time. We talked about it on the previous call this morning. Just picking up that phone, whether it's on camera, whether it's just over the phone itself, and have an interaction. But let's try and get active as well. Premier have got a great new resource out there, which is helping us to stay active. It'd be great to get your thoughts and feedback on that as well. Obviously, engage in their completed sports, to be competitive sports and activities. So, of course, we want to challenge everybody. That's whether they're the high level, middle, or low ability. We want to make sure that everyone's being challenged at their right skill set, which is always important. And competitive sports does encourage that. And then lead healthy and active lives. Okay, I think we portray this message a lot, which is brilliant. And I think it's really starting to hit home now. And actually, I think we've all seen how the nation is kind of coming together now, and everyone's trying to support everyone to stay active and healthy. And hopefully there'll be some good come out of the current climate, where continuing on, people will continue to live active, healthy lifestyles, which will be brilliant. Cool. Okay. So just hang on a minute. What have we got here? So just getting some comments on here, which is great. Matty Lee, have a contingency plan, back up, a great idea. Lots of things can be barriers towards our plan. GG weather. Yeah, spot on. Excellent answer. Sorry, I'm trying to monitor the chat as well as the presentation. Like I say, Adrian is in there as well. Now, guys, with the current slide I've got in front of me, I've got a lesson plan which I've just pulled off the training resource. What I'd like you to do is to log on to a website called Slido, which is www.slido.com, and it'll ask you to enter a code. If you could enter the hashtag D764, that would be brilliant. And once you've done that, just put a thumbs up in the comment box. Okay, so excellent, Jessica, thank you very much. The code is D764. I will put it back up on the screen again in a sec. Okay, and then what I'd like us to do.
So is it B7 or is it D7?
D7. D for David.
All right.
So what I'd like us to do, as you can see on my screen, there's kind of the first half of a lesson plan. Which you can, just on that lesson plan, you can log on and go, okay, so looking at that, what what stands out for us? What's good practice in that lesson plan? What maybe looks good? Maybe what might we use ourselves? Anything that stands out, actually, I really like that, and it's a great kind of part of the plan that I'm going to pick up from. Does that make sense? Everyone clear? So good. Some good answers now starting to come in, which is great.
Good. If you could present mode, mate, it will show it all.
I'll do that at the end, mate. That's how we'll do that. And then once you've got them there, give it a couple of seconds, and then we'll then go to the next part. So think about every part of that plan. Think about the steps on there. Think about the introduction, the preparation, the Waltz and Wills, so they're familiar with what we've been using ourselves. And then here's the next part of the plan as well. And so for those you can hear, I'm currently homeschooling as well, so I've got a young lad in the conservatory with the dog, and he's just shouting at him going mad. So apologies if you could hear him kicking off at the dog. All right, so excellent. So we've got some really good answers coming in here. So currently review the session plan, highlight areas that you feel may be successful for the plan. Excellent. So we've got in here inclusive, yeah, good. Child, what do we mean by child? Is that child focused? Is that kind of challenging for them? Clear, yeah, good. The steps, excellent. What about the steps? Are they good steps? Is there any development? Guys, some great answers coming in here. Lots of answers, which is good. And they all want to maybe come on and discuss their point. That'd be really good. Anybody?
Can I ask someone who's put use all, some and most, do they mind just sort of going into a bit more detail on that? I know some people may not have come across that before, so it'd be really good to hear about that. Or anybody else who maybe didn't put that but have used it. Do you want to just elaborate on that point, using all, some and most?
Yeah, I put that in the chat is because every time I come and get assessed, I always get differentiation. It's never clear on who's like my top group, who's my low group. So I think if I could say, if I put it actually in my plan, I'll remember to do it. And I think that was a really good way to like split it up. So I say all the children are able to do that. Some of them are like pretty good, and then most of them, I think that was a clear way for me to put into my plan and remember like my children need to do this activity. So I think that was a good way to help with differentiation.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks for sharing that, and really honest as well. So I'm sure a lot of people have taken from that. Differentiation, does anyone want to elaborate on that for anyone on the call who maybe isn't a curricular delivery yet? So these calls aren't for specific groups, anybody can join. So does anyone want to share differentiation? I'll do 10 star jumps if someone shares differentiation.
Is differentiation just basically trying to challenge each child at their limit, not the whole class, so to speak? So each child, you sort of recognising where they're at and you're trying to challenge them to get where they need to be, not where everyone needs to be.
Perfect, Jake. Thank you for that. I will do my 10 star jumps. Gouldy, I'll let you.
What, me do the star jumps or me take back on?
No, I'll take the star jumps. I'll let you carry on, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, great stuff. Cool. Just who put on there was understandable. Whoever put that on there, it could be great if we can just come on and just share some comments about how we found it understandable and how it works, obviously, to help us. If we can come on and let us know, then Neil gets another 10 star jumps. Might have been more than one of you. Okay. That's fine. Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. No, you've been saved there. Cool. Okay, so in terms of the plan itself, there's lots of positives on there. There's lots of areas that I think we could all use. I think the idea around the all, some, and most definitely helps some of us, not all of us, but actually, you know, it's a really great tool because actually, I think the message that sometimes we forget and we lose is that a lesson plan is for us as a deliverer. You know, we're not planning just to tick a box. We're not planning to go to the school and go, here's my plan. It looks lovely in my folder, not been used since, but actually, it's there if you need to see it. That's not what our plan's about. The plan is to have a clear understanding, the clear kind of progressive steps within our session to go, right, I know what I'm doing. I've planned my session, but it's there to give me some leeway if I lose track or if I need to refer back to it or actually go away from it. And there's some question in there or some other kind of forms of ideas. So, has anyone got anything they want to share around their planning? What works for them? So, anyone want to come on and maybe share a comment, or what works for you guys in terms of your planning? Have you got any kind of good practice?
I always work backwards, so I plan my last activity first. So if I say I want the kids to be able to roll the ball to their partner with accuracy, I do that first and then I work backwards. So then I know that each stage is fitting, so I know where my end goal is.
Yeah, excellent. I used to be very similar. Anyone else, kind of the same? Anyone else maybe a little bit different? So I used to look at maybe my outcome and go, right, what do I want to achieve from my session today? Okay, well, let's say it's to complete process A. Well, I used to go, well, that's where my bar is set. That's my level I'm going to achieve. Now I need to work backwards and go, right, well, what warm-up links into that, preparation activity links into that kind of objective, what session content am I going to look to cover, and then ultimately then come into my Walsh and my Wilfs. Does everyone use Walsh and Wilfs? Does everyone use anything different? Sarah, I write my lesson plans. I'm teaching the student what question I may ask. Yeah, spot on, brilliant. I think a lot of people miss that trick at times. They might not put the questions in there, and then they forget to ask them again. It's really good practice to have the questions in your plan. I think it does just jog you as well, which is excellent stuff. So yeah, anyone use anything different? Walsh, Wilfs, less objectives.
When I used to plan, I'd have the outcome displayed along with the topic and maybe skills involved, but it was very much a what, why, how. So I applied all questions around those three areas. For introduction and plenary, it was always what is the outcome, why is it important, or why is it relevant, and then how have you achieved it? Just so then I used to find that we're very quick to say what to do. You need to pass today, you need to do this, so on and so on. Sometimes the how comes often. This is how you're going to make that pass. But a lot of the learning for me was around, right, why are you making the pass? Why have you been drove to that decision? So that model for me used to work really well, I found.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think for those in the kind of curricular delivery aspect, and have had either an observation on themselves, or done some CPD and been through the report, or even completed an observation on another member of staff, on the form that says, the what, why, and how on the quality of teaching, pupil achievement. And actually, how many people don't always tick the how? I think sometimes we don't understand how to portray that across. So we do it, but we don't talk about it until the end of the session, I typically find. So we'll sit everyone down and go, okay, boys and girls, what do we do today? Why do we look to cover this? And how do we do it? Well, let's jump that forward, and we can add that into the start. They know throughout the session how they're going to achieve it, and they can also then look to achieve it quicker. I think for planning to be clear, start with, so I'm just reading your comment, Matthew Lee, on here. Start with aims, objectives, good age group, audience, excellent stuff. If you don't know who you're teaching to, you can't teach an effective lesson. Time to perform each activity, e.g. 5 minutes for work, 30 minutes for a session. Okay, yeah, good. Be flexible. Risks, why are we doing a session? Yeah, good. Gets the children ownership. Yeah, great stuff. Matthew, do you want to just come on and discuss about this? There's really good points on there. It'd be great if you could just share 2 or 3 minutes. Matthew, are you there?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Great stuff.
Yeah, no worries. So, in terms of ownership, I not long did my FA Level 1 football coaching course. And on there, they say give, player ownership. So it's sort of, if you've got cones that are set out, sort of ask them to pick them up after the session. Maybe see what they can do to progress the session themselves. Maybe give them a personal challenge or something like that they need to work on. So say if they're higher ability, if you're playing football, for example, say, okay, you've got to play 1-touch football. Everybody else is on 4-touch football, 3-touch football, something like that. Just so it encourages then that participation aspect of it as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's really good. I think
gets them engaged. So
yeah, I was going to say, for those who have maybe used that kind of strategy in the past in their delivery, how have you found the engagement levels? Have you found that let's look at maybe for an extracurricular club. We might have a range of children where some might be new to year 4 football. They've never played it before. You might have others who are playing for a team or a player development centre and be more advanced. Giving them some ownership and getting them engaged in the kind of set their own targets or progressing themselves is a really good tool and a great strategy to use. So well done. Thanks for sharing that, Matthew. That's appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
Sarah, really good point on this, Sarah. Do you want to just come on board and talk through it? Sarah Stocker? Put you on the spot here.
Hiya.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? All right?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. So I was just looking at I was actually making a plan, and I was just looking through it to see what I could put in that was a bit different. And I find a lot with our staff that sometimes if one of them is ill or that you need to go and take another session, and you look at a plan and you go, I need a bit more detail just to, actually then go and teach it with the knowledge that you've got, but being a bit more specific so that what the that it links to the outcome, and that the children are going to get the most out of that session plan. And it's the same with our CPD, so making sure that you give a session plan that is specific enough so a teacher could literally read it and go, yeah, I could confidently teach that. Also with visual, when they've been with us, they've been doing a bit of their own teaching at the same time, so they might watch us for one rotation and then they will then teach part of that from what they've seen from us. But also the session plan, I think, is really important, and it also makes a great resource and for teachers to then keep for future lessons.
Yeah, great, and you've explained it really well. Thank you for that. I think and one of the key reasons why I think I wanted to get yourself on is actually, you kind of allude to one of my points coming up in the future slides. But we talk quite a lot about, you know, whether it's a handout that someone else could pick up and interpret. So, you know, with, for example, a scheme of work. Yes, there's loads of scheme of works out there which potentially have the power to be absolutely brilliant. But I'm a massive believer personally, and a scheme of work is only great if you understand the lesson content. So, for example, you know, someone could give me a scheme of work around, let's say, I don't know, pick a sport, tennis. And okay, we'll go and deliver that lesson. Well, I'm going to interpret that lesson, but I might not interpret it the same way that maybe another has. And I've got to then work even harder on planning, which is more of an idea thing. Whereas actually within Premier, obviously with our planning framework, I think is more beneficial, because actually there's different strands, different approaches, and we're not necessarily always focusing on a set topic. For example, tennis, we're looking at actually developing core skills. So, you know, agility, balance, coordination within maybe a tennis setting, but tennis is the tool, not the focus. So yeah, really great points. Cool. Okay, guys. So really good engagement here. I'm really appreciating it. Let's move on. So I can ask you to go back onto your slide over the same code. And what I want you to do is, as it says on the tin, what does delivery mean to you? So if you can start sharing your comments on Slido, I'm going to use it as a presenter one as well, so they will see the comments flying in. What does delivery mean to you? Who's going to be the first one to get the comments in there? Spy, yeah, good. Great one. Great start. It's a powerful start. Enthusiasm, inspiring, yeah, good. Guys, you all see this still, yeah? Can you see this coming through? Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you can. Excellent. Cheers, Jessica. Cheers, Emma. Nice to see you again. Brilliant. So some really good points coming in here. I am again going to look to take on a couple of the points and afterwards come on board or online and discuss them. So body language. Who's put that one on there? It's a great point. Who's put that one on there and would like to just speak for a couple of seconds, couple of minutes?
Yeah, that was me.
Who's me? I can't see the names. Who's me?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's it's Harry. Do you want me to explain why I put it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I just think kind of, you know, body language when you're teaching a class. Obviously, a lot of it's kind of verbal because you're teaching them, but at the same time, a lot of it's kind of how you hold yourself. If you're quite, if you have quite an open kind of like posture, it can kind of communicate like other things as well. That you're kind of open to the class, you're approachable, and it just gives a good impression as well.
Yeah, definitely agree. So give me an example of maybe a good and a bad body language in a scenario, if you can, or if someone else wants to jump on and help.
I guess kind of a good one really is it's eye contact probably. I mean, if you're kind of just showing eye contact, it shows you're including everyone. It's not like you're singling anyone out. Obviously, if you're delivering, you don't really want to kind of sort of stare at one child or anything like that. So it's important to sort of look at everyone. That's a good one.
Okay. And any bad examples or any, let's say, poor practice that you want to share, or anyone else wants to share? You guys keep them coming in as well. That'd be great.
I guess if you kind of, the other way, you could be looking down, I guess. I mean, if you've kind of not very open posture, you could be looking down. If you're sort of talking, it's not really, it's like you're not engaging with them. So that has quite a big effect.
Completely agree. I think Matty just jumped in as well and said about body language with the arms crossed and not looking like you want to be there. I think it's a great one. I think often, as sometimes support, and cheers Harry for coming on. I think often we find support members of staff, whether it's TAs from the school or support within our Premier team, who are there to complement and support our lesson. Sometimes it's very easy for it to look like they're unengaged and necessarily not wanting to be in the session. And I think sometimes I would say that comes down, and our delivery model looks at, do they know what they're there to do? So as the lead AP, have I shared my plan? Have I giving them some clear indication of what I would like them to do throughout the session, or are they kind of just fending for themselves, trying to get through the session, if that makes sense. Another really good example I've got for body language, and maybe in a not so positive way, would be, and I see this quite a lot for extracurricular clubs, certainly after school or breakfast. I'll be coming in early in the morning or at the end of the school day, maybe a bit tired, flagging, and not sure what club's going to happen or how it's going to look. And they walk into the hall or the classroom and they see the AP sat down either on their phone or just sat down, kind of not really looking like they want to be there. For me, that's a massive red flag for body language. I would always say, let's get up on our feet, let's welcome the children into the room. Good afternoon, how are you? How was school today? And I think, that's not just our body language, but our enthusiasm, which someone's put on here as well. I think everything just portrays, and the children walk into an environment, which is on here as well, positive environment, which has been created by the person leading the activities. Does that all make sense, guys? Yeah. So body language, non-verbal communication, yeah, good, mate. If we don't communicate effectively, the children won't communicate effectively. Yeah, good stuff. So good. So we're leading by examples. We can't expect children to do something if we're not doing it ourselves. We're there to educate and inspire and teach those. So good stuff. Okay, so let's just get back up to here. Good. So we've shared our thoughts. Excellent stuff. Right. Okay. So thinking back to delivery now and reviewing our sessions. Can we identify the group? And again, you can either come on and discuss them, kind of shout them out, or write in the text group. Can we identify the 4 different quality levels of a delivered session? So think back to the feedback you may get from observation. What have we got? Let's go. Who can get these guys, these 4 answers in? Anyone want to come on and speak about them? Or just text them in the group? So think back to how we, assess on observation criteria. Let's look at behaviour and safety. Do we mark it 1, 2, 3, or 4, or is there certain quality levels that we refer to? Yes, the children having fun and enjoyment. We're definitely looking for that. And how would we grade that? Would we say yes, they are, or no, they're not, or would we say it's to a certain level? Think back to our language that we use within our curricular setting when we're looking at quality. So I'll give you one. What level are we aspiring to get to for our delivery? Are we just looking for mediocre? What level are we looking to achieve? What quality level are we aiming for within our delivered session? We talk about it a lot. I think when schools maybe get this grading, they put these big banners outside schools and go, yeah, we are a what school? Outstanding, great stuff. Cheers, Dale. So we're looking for that outstanding delivery. Now, outstanding delivery is achievable, but it's also lots of work that has to go in with planning, with delivering, with reviewing. Everything comes into that to get us to the level where we can be outstanding. And if we get there, that's brilliant. But actually, there's a level below, which I think if we can all get to that level, we are all really, really happy. And is it Kalia? Yeah, good, excellent stuff. So we're looking for good, so outstanding. So we're then looking at good. And if we can get everyone across the board, whether it's within our own local territories, whether it's all our apprentices and our APs, our senior APs, team leaders, all delivering to a good standard, the quality is naturally going to be lifted. There's another one. So if you're not quite hitting good, what level is that? What do we refer to that level as? And Neil's put some guidance or some clues in the chat box. Anyone want to share? Josh, great attempt, satisfactory. Yeah, I mean, it's not the exact technology, but it's pretty much the same. So we look to secure, So satisfactory, secure, you could argue the same type of word. So yeah, great stuff. Thank you very much for that, Josh. So we've got outstanding, we've got good, we've got secure. Come on, guys, last one. Who wants to get that for us? Jessica, development is the first word. Come on, Jessica. Can you finish that whole one? It's like hangman, this. Development required, excellent stuff. Well done, Jessica. Cool. So yeah, if we're not quite hitting the language that we want to achieve, so outstanding and good, yeah, it might still be a secure session. It might be where children have had a really valuable learning lesson. They've taken a lot away from it, but there's some simple key points where we want to get to improve into that good level. And again, lots of factors come into that, and I think we can be as deliverers, we need to look at how our delivery is. Are we delivering to a good to outstanding level, or are we just going in and delivering to a secure setting? Again, our planning, that we know that the ability of the children or the ability of us as deliverers or the environment we're working within is at a secure standard. Where are we going? What are we doing to get to that next level as good? Okay, it might be 1 or 2% of each session or each plan that you write to get to the next one. Okay, so here we go. So outstanding, what it basically means is all children make rapid progress. Like I say, it is achievable. Lots of people can achieve it and do achieve it, as well as schools across the board, which is excellent to see. But again, like I said before, it doesn't happen overnight, and we have to, really work hard to develop ourselves and the whole set around us. They're good, so all children make some progress. So that might be getting from A to B or C to D. Might be child goes from A all the way to D, but they all make some level of progress within the session. And then secure, some children make progress. So again, it's not all, it's not none, it's some of them do. We want to try and get the ones who don't to make some more, but actually we're happy with what we've got. And then development required is no children make any progress, which, from an educational perspective, that's obviously not what we're looking to achieve. We want to achieve certainly 1, 2, and 3, but we need to know where we are. We talked about it before in the earlier slides. If we know where we are in terms of our plan and where we're planning to get to, if we are at a development required level, right, where's our next steps and what are we going to work on? What are we going to plan in our place to get secure and onto good or to outstanding? Does that make sense to everybody? Just give me if to come on board, say yes, that'd be great, or thumbs up. Does that all make sense now? Have you seen that before? Have you referred back to that before? Yeah, cheers Jessica, cheers Emma, cheers Matty, Carl, Kitty, excellent stuff. Yeah, great. Comments flying in. Brilliant stuff. Cool. Okay, so you may or may not have seen this before. I'm a massive believer in this quote, and I use it a lot within my delivery. I even use it in my personal life with my own children. So it's really simple. It's teach me and I forget. So tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I'll learn. And I think, we have sometimes a nature where we can stand in front of a class, a group of children, and go, right, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, off you go. We might then go over to them and say, right, in this section, can we make sure we're doing this better or that better, or can we do this a little bit differently? And we're teaching them some points along the way. Whereas actually, if we could bring them in and go, right, okay, what's working well? What are we doing well together? What could we do a little bit better? How do you feel we get from this point to that point? You're involving them. They're then critiquing, whether it's a peer review or self-review themselves, and ultimately you're involved with them and they're going to go away and learn from it. And the challenge I'll set to everybody, and please do this moving forward. I'm always doing it when I pick my own son up from after school clubs, is basically I will ask him after every club, or the parents ask their own children, what have you learned today? Now, if they go home and go, can't remember, or don't know what we've done, or we played football, or we did rugby, okay, well, actually what you've done, what have you learned? Whereas sometimes my lad will come home and go, I've learned how to dribble through cones and shoot at the target afterwards, or do a forehand return over the net. So the learning piece has been involved. And a little bit to the side of that, children forget what you tell them, and then forget how you made them feel. Question for you, and sometimes people catch me out on this. I'm looking for 1 or 2 people who can come on board and just answer some questions. So literally not difficult questions, but who wants to open themselves up? Come on, somebody. If I'll have to pick on someone. Who we've got? I've got Harry. Have we got Heather? Is Heather there? Heather, can you take your mic off? You can talk.
Hello.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. Don't worry. You're not going to get anything in depth. I've asked you literally 2 simple questions, and hopefully it's all pan out as it needs to. So, Heather, roughly, you haven't got to tell me exactly. We don't need to know your exact age, but roughly, how long did you leave school? Was it like 5 to 10 years, 1 to 2 years? Roughly, how long?
How long I've been teaching in school?
No, how long did you left school completely yourself?
I left high school in 2012.
Perfect. So, plenty of time. Think back to when you were in primary school, okay? And then naturally, as PE deliveries or workers in the PE sector, this is hopefully this goes to plan. Can you remember your PE teacher's name?
No.
You can't. Okay. Heather, you've killed me there. Can you remember your math teacher's name?
I remember we had someone coming from Warsaw Football Club. I remember his name, but he wasn't our PE teacher.
But he taught you PE, yeah?
Yeah, he used to come in and teach us football like once a term.
Yeah, excellent. And good, bad?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed PE because I'm dyslexic, so I struggle in school. So
okay.
I like PE.
Yeah, good. So as an outsider coming in, he inspired you, supported you, and ultimately you're now still involved in the sport. What about your maths or English teacher? Now, I'm not saying they're not as good, but do you remember them as well as you remember your PE teacher?
No. This might show my memory, though.
Good.
Fair.
Excellent. That's how it should be. And not necessarily not how it should be, but that's how I wanted to plan out for this question answer. So the reason I find that, and Heather, thanks very much. You can turn yourself on mute again. The reason I ask that question is, lots of times we walk into a classroom setting and it's sit down behind the table, get your books out, start learning. We're never involved. We're never made to feel, that we are somebody. Whereas in a PE session or sport activity, 90% of the time, we always find that children, they might get a high five or they might get a well done, or there's more positive praise, I find. And actually, you then go away from that going, excellent, I feel really valued, I feel really special. But again, to all our children, we want to portray that maths, English is as important. I'm not saying it isn't. So just to clear that one up. Cool. Okay. So it's essential that when working with children, that we create an atmosphere for them to learn. So, challenge for you all. Using the theme of space, how can we plan a 6-week medium-term plan? So what do I mean by medium-term plan? Anyone want to share what I think I mean?
A term?
What do I mean? Yeah, good. It might be a term. Excellent. So am I looking for you to drill down on the Walsh and the Wilson and the lesson outcomes? In the medium-term plan?
No, so it's just like an overview. So say like
Excellent.
week 1 would be dribbling, week 2 would be passing, week 3 would be
scoring. Yeah, great stuff. Brilliant. So, guys, let's do it together, either in the group chat or if you want to take stuff off mute and you want to talk about them, we can write them down and we can share them. I have got a whiteboard behind me if I can write on if I want to share my screen again. So, week 1, think about space. What could we be thinking about? Think about space. What would we do for week 1? So I've written this one down here. Agree. So have we got any of the comments? Not yet. So I've got one here. Getting ready into our spacesuits, for example. So understanding how we wear our spacesuit, why it's important to have our spacesuit on, how we're going to move in our spacesuit. Yeah. Everyone agree? And then I've got week 2. I've put on here, fly into space. So we know how we're going to move. We know how we're going to wear our uniform. Our next session is how we're going to get there. So we're going to travel. We're going to, we might go fast. We might go slow. We might go different heights, different levels. But ultimately, week 2, we're looking at how we get to space. What about week 3? Anyone want to share anything? I'm going to open it up. If not, I'll ask some people again. Cheers, Matty. Thank you very much. So week 3. So we've got getting ready. We've got getting there. Week 3. What will we look at week 3?
Could it be like how you move in space? Because obviously, like, say we don't just walk normally, do we, when we're in space? Maybe
yeah, excellent. So we might how we move in space. We can look at the landing. So actually, how are we going to land? So we might be from a great height down to a distance, and then looking at how we're going to move around, how we're going to adjust. Excellent. And then again, week 4 we also then put on here close encounters. I think for children, making it theme based. What's really important is we engage in with topic. So it's not just right. We're going to look at traveling. You say to a primary school child, we're going to travel in space. What they actually start to do, take these giant big steps and go really slowly. Talk about close encounters, maybe week 4. What might we come across on the moon or in space? And I'll talk about aliens. Okay, well, how do aliens move? And guys, look, this isn't gospel. It's just kind of some notes I've just thrown around. Week 5, I've put on here maybe why are we going there? Are we going there for a holiday? Are we going there to maybe collect some items to bring them back down and do some research on them? So we might collect the items. Okay, so we might have to do a little bit of different movements to how we collect them. Week 6, I've put on here returning home. So how we're going to come back. And again, we can look at emotions. We can look at facial expressions. We can look at how they feel coming back. And then week 7, who can throw out to me? What have we got? If we're returning home, what do we need to do? Come on, who can do it? So we have to look at landing on the moon. If we're returning from the moon, what else do we need to look at?
Landed back on Earth.
Yeah, landed back on Earth. Yeah, I think my son in the background just shouted that out as well. Exactly, yeah, landing back, which is great. And as you can probably hear by his answers, we're a bit homeschooling at the moment. We're looking at a bit of space. And we had to plan that in last week because we need to know where we're going for the next few weeks. Excellent stuff. Okay, cool. So I've got here just a small table. Psychological arousal and cognitive interpretation equals or adds to a great emotional experience. Okay, so it's not just about what we tell children, it's not about what we teach them, it's about how we make them feel, how we involve them, and then the outcomes they get from that. Okay, so again, go back to being that child who was always maybe picked last or never won the trophy or the medal or praise or anything. Don't necessarily look to return back to sport. Don't continue playing sport at any point in their career. Just stop there because they don't have any great emotional experiences. And likewise, if we give it all, all the praise and positive to a certain person, the same person all the time, they may not be able to deal with that and go, well, actually, when I don't then get praise, how do I then feel? So it's about a balance. It's about reviewing the participants in our session, whether it's curricular, whether it's extracurricular, even a lunchtime club. How are we making the children feel to come back to enjoy it because they want that emotional experience? So great stuff. Okay, different teaching styles. Who's seen the 3 different teaching styles before? I'm sure most of you have. So we have autocratic, we have democratic, we have laissez-faire. So literally not going to spend too much time on here, but the screenshot is there if you want to take any notes down, if you want to screenshot it. I would always encourage try and get to democratic and kind of laissez-faire as quickly as possible. However, if you skip past the autocratic stage within your delivery, you'll have no structure, you'll have no behaviour management, and the class could turn into chaos, okay? Which we don't want. So some points on there, autocratic, control, safe environment, establishing ground rules, and so on and so on and so on. Any questions on that, or are we all okay? We're all okay, great stuff, excellent. Okay, cool. So, just 2 kind of slides to finish us off. So, a good education can change anyone. A good teacher can change everything. And I genuinely believe into that. I think the national curriculum is the same for every teacher out there in the UK who's delivering to, let's say, year 2. But actually, some year 2 teachers are absolutely brilliant compared to others. And that's not because the others are a bad teacher. It's because how they maybe you feel or how you see them or perceive them, I feel that's really going to benefit me. So Remember that a good teacher can change everything, whereas a good education can change anyone. And then finally, as we find this all the time, we go back into our planning, back into the sessions that we review. If plan A doesn't work, don't worry, stay cool. Talk about the presentation that Nick done before mine. Be that swan, you might be nice and calm on the surface, whereas paddling like mad under the water. Stay cool, stay calm, because the alphabet's got 25 more letters, and you can go and plan and be effective moving forward.